So insulin is an endogenous hormone that's produced by the pancreatic beta cells and released by the pancreatic beta cells in the process of consuming food and also in response to a rise in blood glucose. Okay? So when you consume food, there is this transient spike in insulin, and then there's a secondary rise in insulin that happens once the food is actually getting absorbed and glucose levels are rising. And insulin has a variety of metabolic actions, including that increase in cell uptake of glucose by adipose tissue, skeletal muscle, and liver cells. It also enhances the production of glycogen. It enhances the production of stored fat. And insulin actually acts on cells similar to a growth factor, where it enhances cell division, it enhances cell growth. Okay. So it's a hormone that enhances the uptake and utilization of glucose by cells, and then stimulates cells to use that increase in glucose to increase in cell number or cell size and overall growth. So the consequences of insulin deficiency is that the cells get into a catabolic mode, meaning that they are starting to break down, especially fat cells. Fat cells actually need a baseline level of insulin secretion to even just maintain normal fat storage. Okay? So in the absence of insulin, fat cells just tend to break down by default. You also see an increase in glycogenolysis, or the breakdown of glycogen, in the absence of insulin. Okay. An increase in gluconeogenesis. So the body assumes that you are in, and this is actually an important factor in diabetic hyperglycemia, is that even though your blood glucose is high, your cells and your liver, most importantly, thinks you are starving. So you get this increased liver production of glucose contributing to the hyperglycemia. Okay. So the hyperglycemia is not just from the food that you can't, that the glucose can't get into cells, it's also contributed by the liver production of glucose. Okay. Sure. So the hyperglycemia in diabetics, it's made worse by liver production of glucose. Okay. Because even though your blood glucose levels are high, your cells can't get to the glucose, and your liver thinks that you're in a fasting or starvation state. So it produces new glucose and adds it to the bloodstream. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yeah, I mean, yes. Your liver is going to deplete its glycogen stores. Your muscles are going to deplete their glycogen stores, and your liver is going to really kick into this gluconeogenesis. No, it's not like you will, no, it doesn't cause hepatocellular death. Which is what you would see with the rise in enzymes. Yeah. Okay. So the insulin that's given exogenously, okay, this falls into the category of high alert drugs because of the risk of hypoglycemia. Okay? So insulin is a high alert agent because of the risk of hypoglycemia. The sources of insulin in the past came from animal sources. So basically bovine or cow or porcine or pigs. Okay? But in recent years in the development of recombinant DNA technology, we actually have human insulin that's produced by microbes. Okay? So the insulin that's given today is human insulin that is identical to the insulin produced by the human pancreas. Okay? So today the insulins that we give pharmacologically are either what's called regular insulin, which is identical to the insulin produced by your body, and then we have a variety of insulin analogs, which are basically modified forms of insulin that they have the same actions on the body, but they have a different duration of actions. So we have short-acting insulins, intermediate-acting insulins, long-acting insulins, okay, that have a time course of action that's either shorter or longer than normal insulin or regular insulin. So we have short duration or rapid acting insulins, and we'll talk about what that means in terms of time course. Okay? Insulin lispro, insulin aspart, insulin glulisine. Okay? These are the short acting. There's, the rapid acting. We've got the slower acting, but still in the realm of short acting, is regular insulin. Okay? This is the unmodified insulin. We've got insulin of intermediate duration, okay, which is most commonly used as NPH or neutral protamine hegedorine insulin, NPH. Insulin D-dimer, or is another intermediate duration insulin. And then we've got a long duration insulin, glargine, okay, that's actually supposed to give insulin coverage for a 24-hour period. So it's a once-a-day, 24-hour coverage. Okay. So the short-duration, rapid-acting insulins, talk about that first. Insulin lispro, it is an analog of human insulin. It has a rapid onset between 10 to 20 minutes. And a short duration. It only lasts about 3 to 5 hours. Okay? So this is the kind of insulin that you would administer immediately before eating or even immediately after eating. Okay? And it would basically cover you for that meal. Okay? Other rapid-acting insulins, aspart, okay, also has a 15 to 30-minute onset. Insulin is generally given parenterally and most commonly through sub-Q injection. Okay. Duration, 3 to 6 hours. Okay. Usual route is sub-Q. It's also used, it can also be used in an insulin pump. It acts faster than regular insulin, but has a shorter duration of action, and it should be injected about 5 to 10 minutes before meals. Okay, so these rapid-acting insulins are just before meals generally. Okay, and then the last of the rapid-acting insulins, the glulisine. Okay. Again, 10 to 15 minutes onset, duration 3 to 5 hours, administered close to the time of eating. Yes, ma'am.
Lispro is listed on 2 different slides with slightly different info.
Yeah, so this is actually aspart. The lispro information is here. I don't know why that's there. Sorry, I think that's a mistake. That shouldn't be there. Yeah, so on this slide I would cross out that because this information is for the aspart. Yeah, so this is the lispro information. and this is the aspart information. Okay? Okay. Regular insulin is unmodified human insulin. It's approved for sub-Q injection, sub-Q infusion through a pump, intramuscular injection, but that's really a fairly rare route of administration. There's even an inhaled form of regular insulin, but that's actually not approved currently for use. Okay? That's more theoretical than it is in operation. So most of the time, insulins are given sub-Q. Okay? Regular insulin has an onset of action between 30 and 60 minutes. It peaks at 1 to 5 hours, and the duration is 10 hours. Okay, so 10 hours for regular insulin as opposed to 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 for the rapid acting. The regular insulin, and really in the United States, all formulations of insulin, with the exception of NPH, will be a clear solution. Okay? NPH should be the only insulin that you expect to be cloudy in appearance, okay, and will need to be agitated or shaken before you administer. And so that means that any insulin that is not NPH that appears cloudy should be discarded because it's contaminated. Okay. Now, regular insulin, most of the insulins come. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. To You think this is aspart and this is Lispro? Well, I will check on that. According to the book? Okay. I'll double check and I'll clarify it. Okay? I promise. I promise. All right. So, regular insulin. Go back to regular insulin. Okay, clear solution. Good. All right. So, most of the insulins that we're going to talk about are available in what's called U100, or a concentration that's 100 units per milliliter.